Right, we're going to do synthetic division. And what we're going to do is, okay, we're going to make it shorter. Okay, we're not going to do it the long way. So first, okay, synthetic division, it only works when you are dividing by a linear, okay, equation or a linear divisor. So works only for linear divisor. Okay, when I say linear divisor, that means that the exponent should be just first power. So if you look at number 1, it's k plus 8. The exponent for k is just 1. So we can do this by synthetic division. If you look at number 2, same thing. It's just k minus 6. So that means it's the first power. Same thing with number 3. It's only x. So that's x to the first power. So all of this we can do by synthetic division. So to set it up, we're going to set it up, okay, same way as we set it up in the long division, except in a very weird way. So what we do is we do our division upside down, right? Then we're going to use only the numerical coefficients of your dividend, the one that you're going to divide, okay? So if it's k cubed, that means you're going to use 1 because it's the same thing as 1k cubed. Then minus k squared, we're going to use negative 1. Negative 63k, we're going to use negative 63. And positive 77 is, of course, just 77. So this numerical coefficients, we're going to write on top. So this, and make sure that you have space in between. So it's going to be 1, negative 1, negative 63, and positive 77. Okay, then, okay, we're going to write down our divisor. Our divisor is going to be also outside, okay, the division part. Except, since we're doing numbers only here, we're going to have a number only, okay, as our divisor. So it's going to come from k plus 8. And what you do is you solve for k by putting it equal to 0. So this will be minus 8, so k is equal to negative 8, right? So this negative 8 is our divisor. We're going to put it outside, okay, our division bar, right? So now, everything that we did in long division, it's sort of like we're doing always the opposite, okay? So the first thing that we do whenever we divide by synthetic division, after we set it up, is to bring down the first digit, no matter what it is. So for, okay, the 1 right here, we're going to bring down all the way to the bottom, right? So in here, since this goes to your notes, I'm going to bring down. Okay, the first digit is always, okay, brought down. Okay, then we're going to multiply. Okay, so instead of dividing, we're going to multiply, since we're doing always almost the opposite of what we do in long division. We're going to multiply the 1 to the negative 8 by your divisor. And, okay, multiply. And 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. So the answer that you got when you multiply it, it goes to the next column. So under the negative 1, you're going to write your answer, negative 8. So this answer that you got, you're going to put it down, right? And then, okay, remember after we, okay, multiply in the long division, we subtract. Okay, since we're doing the opposite, we're not going to subtract. Instead, we're going to add. So we're going to add these two together. Negative 1 and negative 8 is negative 9. Right? And every single number you bring down, you're going to multiply it to your divisor and keep on going. The same process. Okay, so multiply again. Negative 9 times negative 8 is positive 72. So we're going to write our answer underneath negative 63. Add them up. And negative 63 plus 72 is positive 9. So I'll write our answer right here. So now that we have another number in the bottom, we start all over again. We're going to multiply the 9 to our divisor, negative 8. So 9 times negative 8 is negative 72. You put it on the last column. And you know that you're done already when you're in the last column. That will be the last thing we're going to do. But add it up first. 77 minus 72 is positive 5. Okay. These are the numerical coefficients of our answer. Okay. The last number is always your remainder. So this 5 is our remainder. Now, of course, the only thing that we're missing is what about the variables? Because if it's a polynomial, that means our answer is also a polynomial. Okay, and it's very easy. Okay, the first exponent will always be 1 less than the highest exponent of your dividend. So since our highest exponent is 3, then it will be k to the 3 minus 1, which means k squared. So it will be highest exponent minus 1. Always highest exponent minus 1. So for k, the first numerical coefficient is 1. This is when your k will be second power. Then the next numerical coefficient is negative 9. This is the one that will have the k. And of course, the 9 is the constant, the one without the k on it. And the 5 is your remainder. So to write the whole thing out, okay, 1 times k squared, or 1k squared, is the same thing as k squared. So don't put the 1 anymore. Then you got the negative 9k, then plus 9. And then the remainder, we're going to put it in fraction form again. So it will be plus, since it's a positive, you're going to write plus. And then numerator will be your remainder. Your denominator will be your divisor. So we're going to go back to our original divisor, which is k plus 8. And we're going to write it in the bottom. So your numerator is the remainder. And your denominator is your divisor. And that will be your answer. Alright. Let's practice. Okay, we still have all the way to 6. So let's practice on number 2. Okay, first thing that we look at first is, do we have to put zeros? Are there any missing terms? And that's 3, 2, 1, and constant, so there's none. So draw your upside down division. And on top, we're going to write down our numerical coefficients. So the first numerical coefficient is 3. So we're going to write 3. Then negative 16. Then negative 17. And then the last one is 30. Okay, then we're going to set up our divisor. Okay, our divisor is k minus 6. So you're going to put it equal to 0. And you solve for k. So that means k is equal to 6. So that goes outside. Okay, then bring down the first digit, 3, and every single number we put in the bottom, we're going to multiply it to our divisor. So 3 times 6 is 18. We write our answer in the bottom of negative 16. That's why I put this arrow, so you know that you're not supposed to write it underneath this. You're supposed to write it on the next one. So negative 16 plus 18 is 2. And same thing, go back to the same process. 2 times 6 is 12. You write it under negative 17, add it up, and negative 17 plus 12 is negative 5. Then negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. So we're going to write it under 30. And add them up again, so there will be 0. Okay, every time we get a 0, it means that there will be no remainder. So next, we need to write down our variables with the correct exponents. Look for the highest exponent in the problem, which is k to the third, which means that we're going to subtract 1, and that will be the highest exponent in our answer. So the 3 will be 3k squared. The 2 will be 2k, and then the minus 5. There will be no remainder, so I'm not going to put plus 0 anymore, but put this inside the box. because that will be our final answer. 3k squared plus 2k minus 5. Number 3. Check for missing terms. 3, 2, 1. So there are no missing terms for number 3. Set it up again with the upside down division. Okay, write down the numerical coefficients starting from the highest exponent, 1. So this will be 1. Then you have the 12. Then you have 40. Then you have 72. They're all positives. Then outside will be our divisor. So remember, it always comes from the divisor, x plus 8. Just put it equal to 0 and solve for x, which means it's going to be negative 8. So you put negative 8 in the front, and you start your division, your synthetic division, by bringing down the first digit. So the 1, okay, will be brought down. So it's going to be 1. And every single number you put in the bottom, you're going to multiply it to negative 8. So 1 times negative 8 is negative 8. Put it in the bottom of 12 and add them up. These two numbers, okay, every time we put two numbers here, we add them up. So 12 plus negative 8 is positive 4. 4 times negative 8 is negative 32. So put it under 40. Add them up again. So that will give you 8. Multiply it again. 8 times negative 8 is negative 64. And add 72 and negative 64, you will get 8. Okay, we didn't get a 0 on the last one, so that means we will have a remainder. So this is your remainder. Okay, we need to write down our final answer with the correct variables. Again, the highest exponent is third power. So that means the first answer will have x squared in it. The next one will be x, and that will be just the number. So this will be x squared plus 4x plus 8. And then your remainder is positive. We're going to write out with a positive sign or plus sign, and then put it as a fraction. Numerator will be your remainder. Denominator will be your original divisor, which is x plus 8. Our answer should be in fraction form. And that will be your final answer. All right. Okay. More in the back. Okay, check again if there are any missing terms, because if there are, you're going to put zeros on it. This is third power, this is second power, this is 1, and this is 4. So, okay, none is missing, so we're just going to set up the same way. So it would be upside down. Then you have the 6. You have the negative 9. You have positive 1. Then you have positive 4. So it's 6, negative 9, 1, and 4. Outside, since it's x minus 1, what will be the x?
1.
It will be 1. Because you put x minus 1 equals 0, so x equals 1. So this is our divisor. So we're going to start by bringing down the 6. Multiply 6 times 1, which is positive 6. We're going to write it in the bottom of negative 9. Then you put negative 9 plus 6, which is negative 3. Negative 3 times 3 is negative 3. Add them up again, so that would be negative 2. Then negative 2 times positive 1, negative 2. Add them up, that will give you positive 2. So, okay, the remainder then will be the last number. This is your remainder. And all we need to do now is to just write out our variables. So the highest exponent is third power. So that means this will be 1 less, which is squared. This is the one with the x, and that's your constant. So the answer for number 4 then will be 6x squared minus 3x minus 2. And then write your remainder in fraction form. This is positive, so we have to write plus 2 over our original divisor, which is x minus 1. And that will be your answer. Okay. We got 2 more, right? Number 5. You have 4, 3. We are missing the one that has the second power. So that means we're going to have to insert plus 0x squared. We have to make sure that all the terms are represented. Okay, if you're missing some, you put the 0 in it. So then the x and then the 12. So we're ready. So upside down. So you have 1 for x to the 4th. For x cubed, it's also 1. Then 0 for x squared.
10.
And then the 10.
Then 12.
And then the 12. So those are your numerical coefficients. Okay, then we need to figure out what are we going to be dividing with. It will come from x plus 2. X plus 2, put it equal to 0. So x is equal to negative 2. So outside, we're going to put negative 2. Same thing, we start out by bringing down the first digit. So that will be 1. Then 1 times negative 2 is negative 2. Put it under the 1. We add them up. That will give you negative 1. So same thing, multiply negative 1 to the negative 2. That will give you positive 2. So put it under the 0. So add 2. 0 plus 2 is 2. Then you multiply 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4. Add it up to 10, so that will give you positive 6. Then 6 times negative 2 is negative 12. Add them up, and we don't have a remainder. This is a 0. All we need to do now is figure out what will be our highest exponent in our answer. It will be 1 less than the highest exponent, okay, from your dividend. So since this is x to the 4th, you subtract 1 from 4, so it will be x cubed. So this will have x cubed, this will have x squared, this will have x, and this is your constant. So just write it down, but don't put the 1 anymore in front of the variables. So this will be x cubed minus, and since it's 1, it's just x squared, plus 2x plus 6. There is no remainder, so we're not going to put anything after the 6. And that will be your answer already. Pretty simple. Okay, once you get the hang of it, it's easy. All right, the very last one, okay, to the 4th power, we're missing the cube. So in the middle of x to the 4th and negative 6x squared, we're going to insert a 0x cubed. 6 squared, 8x minus 1. That's the only thing that we're missing, so we're ready to divide. By synthetic division, so you upside down. So 1 will be the first coefficient. That's for the x to the 4th. And then the one that we inserted, 0. And then for the x squared, it's negative 6. For the x is positive 8. For then negative 1 is our constant. So we have 5 numerical coefficients. We're going to divide by x minus 2, but we put it equal to 0, so for x, so it will be positive 2. Okay, start by bringing down your first digit, so it's going to be 1. 1 times 2 is 2. We always add. 0 plus 2 is 2. Multiply again. 2 times 2 is 4. We add again. Negative 6 plus 4, negative 2. Negative 2 times 2 is negative 4. We add them again. 8 plus negative 4, positive 4. And last but not the least, 4 times 2 is 8. And negative 1 plus 8 is 7. So the 7 is our remainder. The last number is always our remainder. So all we need to do now is to just write out our final answer by putting in our variables. The highest exponent is x to the 4th. It's always 1 less than the highest exponent. So that means this first answer will be x to the 3rd. The 2 will be x to the 2nd. This will be your x, and this will be your constant. Okay? It's already going to be always in standard form. So write out the final answer. X cubed plus 2x squared minus 2x plus 4. Then we write in our remainder. So that's a plus, a positive, so we're going to put plus.
7.
Then fraction,
X minus
numerator over x minus 2, denominator. So this will be your final answer. Alright, so all we need to do now is you do your assignment. Make sure you do your assignment.